Oops.
Hello, Phil, K4QVZ. I'm just about at my location, so I'm going to say 7-3 to both you guys. And we'll be talking to y'all soon, I hope. So 7-3, and go ahead, Phil. And Bob, we'll talk to you later, K4QVZ.
K4QVZ, I got it? Okay, hold on 1 second. I got the neighbor coming up to talk to me. K4QVZ.
All right, guys, I'm back. We'll catch you two later, John, Bob. I'll be around, Phil. K4ARX portable and monitoring.
All 812, K4QVZ, W4TH, and K4ZTL. I'm going to wait half on early. If you're going to get back to William, you can. Catch y'all later. K4ZTL, W4TH, Flip.
Yeah, I'm back online. Catch you guys later. W4RTH, K4QVZ, and K4ZTO. When you're ready, I'm here. K4ARX.
7-3, guys, K4QVZ.
K4ZTO, portable still. I got that. Take care of some stuff here on the radio now. Back in about 5-10 minutes.
Okay, I'll stand by. K4ARX. All right, welcome back. K4CTO, K4ARX, portable.
ARX, K4CTO, portable. Good afternoon. Sorry about the back and forth there. There's a neighborhood guy who had him mow the lawn in the past. I saw him walking around. So slammed with other stuff, with work and whatnot. Stand by one.
Like 1 second, 1 minute, 1 day.
Yeah, so I'm just going to pay him to mow the lawn. about doing. You'll never guess what I just found on the ground.
Money.
Close. It is the slug been fired. Looks like it's been out here for a while. Full metal jacket. Front's pretty deformed. Looks like a 9 or a 38 just sitting there on the concrete.
You said it was already fired?
Yeah, just the bullet, just the slug, not the empty cartridge.
Okay, that's what I thought what you meant. It still has some value, even though it's used.
Yeah, well, I mean, was popping off rounds and forgetting that the bullet has to land somewhere.
What goes up must come down, right?
Yeah, that's affirmative. I got a buddy who's in the roofing business. Well, it was his dad's business, still is his dad's business. He's got a massive, mason jar full of slugs that they pulled out of people's roofs.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, there's probably money in that business too. It's only recycling.
Yeah, well, you got, I guess, for another, copper alloy and then lead. Yeah, this is, like, must be the second or third one of these things that I found since living in Richmond. I found one kind of in a similar spot a couple years ago. Looked like it might have been a 40. It's a little big V9. It's almost certainly a 9mm.
Used to stay out there in the Bon Air area, or very close to it, and behind one of those shopping centers, there was a popular place to find a lot of those things, especially around the end of the year. I know there's a guy that would pop off a couple of mags, and there were always shells and cases out there in the parking lot, right behind the same restaurant location, and you just pick them up by the handful.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is the brass, and it's supposed to reload. I know folks appreciate the brass, the bullet itself. It's kind of unique. And, every, New Year's Eve and 4th of July. Wouldn't surprise me if it was from 4th of July. Definitely a, full metal jacket, a bullet. The one I previously found was either a really, really deformed full metal jacket, or I think it was hollow points that had been severely deformed.
I imagine they do that when they hit the ground also. Concrete, the asphalt, that clay out there is just not forgiving.
Yeah, you can see the exposed leg down at the bottom there. That's crazy. Thing's been out here for a little while. 4th of July would probably be my best bet. Well, you never know what you're going to find on the street.
No, you don't. And you can find all kinds of things. Like I said, money. You'd be surprised when people walk over, step over one to find another. And there's always all kinds of garbage and stuff. But, that 250th would have been the most recent celebration. You would really be surprised how often you find stuff like that throughout. I've always been told to keep your eyes on the ground. And specifically, that's probably why. That's generally how I find out a lot of stuff. Looking around certain places. Don't necessarily dumpster dive, but I do find a lot of things around the dumpsters hanging over the top because the dumpsters are so full. It's a college town. The kids, they dump everything on their way out. And the opportunity is there. K4 ZTO, K4 ARX, portable.
K4 ZTO portable, yeah, 100%. Especially, around moving time. So really right about now, end of the month, beginning of the month, beginning of August. On the side of that, end of May, beginning of June, when a lot of folks are moving out, it's often a lot easier for people to just toss stuff. Yeah, I mean, I was one of those college kids with PCU. I mean, I remember we would find stuff, and people would just leave stuff, Furniture is a big one. People don't want to just take a couch with them, especially one that's been at a party house.
I knew he was going to
When I
say
was an
that.
undergrad, I lived for a couple of years over in Randolph Ward, let me unkey the mic, on Jacqueline Street. And that house, we called it the party box, and it was just trash. I mean, it was like animal house. So all that furniture was just, got a trailer and a van and filled with those up, went to the city dump down off Hopkins Road and chucked it all in.
Yeah, I was out for a stroll just the other day, and I found a whole dinette set, if you will, portable. It was a folding table. The legs folded under as a folding table does, but the table folds in half. And it was kind of like a Rubbermaid setup. And it also had folding chairs. I think the number was 5. If I had brought it all home, I'd have had 6 actually, because I've got a folding chair here now. I just didn't have the room to set it up. I'm kind of out of room. I've got 5 desks, a couple beds. I've got some makeshift shelves. They're kits is what they are. So pretty much covered up in space here. I've got room to walk around, but if I added the table and chairs, that would have really restricted my space. But it would have been a nice find. They look just practically brand new. I'll let them stay. I guess somebody else will benefit from it.
Yeah, that's the nice thing about it. It's another picker or just a passerby will grab it. We a lot of stuff and a lot of TVs. There's one ancient TV, which I feel really silly just thinking about this now, but we went out and took it out to my buddy's farm and used it as a target practice. Again, thinking about that now is not a good idea, just based on the environmental impact alone. I mean, it had the CRT tube, the TV tube, so that's got all kinds of fun heavy metals in it, I think.
The stuff you hear on the radio these days. Yeah, I understand. Probably should not do that. I don't know that it'd be any different than, smashing neon tubes or fluorescent tubes, which would be more common these days. But I did pick up a monitor, and it had the power supply, and it's specifically a monitor flat screen for a computer. And I brought it home, and I was like, I wonder if it works, and it did. It's HDMI specific, I think. There might be one of those other connectors for fiber optic, I think. Didn't have a chance to test that, but it worked fine with a DVD player. And I saved it and saved it and saved it, and I finally got a laptop in that it works with. It happened to have HDMI on it, a newer model, and it works very much like the other ones do on the Windows Vista laptop. But it's a bigger screen, and it works, and I can divide up all the different open tabs. I can actually split that one 4, maybe 8 different ways if I wanted to, but that'd be too much. 2, 3, or 4 different ways that can have open pages all at the same time, and then have room on the laptop screen. And that Windows Vista, well, one of 2 actually, I've put in one of those monitors that you left by. It's in service. Another monitor is in service on the home entertainment system from Hewlett Packard, which is the tower, the computer tower. And I've still got 1 or 2 left, and the Dell All-in-One that needs work. So plenty of monitors around here, but that Samsung, it works great.
Is the Samsung the one that I left, or is that the one that you found?
I don't think any of the ones that you left here were Samsung. I don't think. One was a Dell. Another one's kind of out of sight. I had another one. I think it's Asus. They're kind of scattered around the shack here, and the labels are kind of covered up. But either way, they all work fine. The one on the multimedia home entertainment system, Hewlett Packard Tower thing, it's got a red line in it. It's a vertical line. And I'm not too concerned about that because it's a narrow line. But we're missing a couple accessories. I've got plenty of keyboards. I've got one mouse that works with the tower because of its specific connector, and I've got a wireless mouse that is USB driven. It's got the USB wireless device. I'd like to have a few of those actually, and maybe some wireless keyboards, but they all work pretty good in conjunction, and they're helping me out doing learning the computer stuff.
That's good. That's really good. And hey, as long as it does the job, then there's nothing to really concern yourself about. A lot of the surplus stuff is totally serviceable. It's just been depreciated for whatever reason, and yeah, I mean, it needs to be good at the dump, especially when I know somebody get use out of it. I've got it set up, my office with screens. So if you add the laptop screen, which I usually just keep the laptop closed and then run 2 screens, but 2 screens and the laptop screen equals 3.
Yeah, that's something I haven't quite learned yet, and I haven't gone that far into the research, but I could do that and use an external keyboard and put the laptop away, so to speak. There's a little shelf that these monitors sit on, just above the desk, if you can imagine. I guess it's to support things like that, and speakers and whatnot, but I could fold up the laptop and put it under that little shelf and use the big monitor. I'm considering, and I was looking at these. I've seen it done before, and I forget the exact function, but it wouldn't be that hard to find it. Is go back in and vertical monitor, and you turn the monitor on its edge, and you have to have the right mount for it to do that. Most of these monitors don't have that mount. If it had a swivel mount or the right mount that had a swivel on it, I could turn one of these sideways and use the vertical monitor for documentation and look at the whole document at once without having to scroll.
Yeah, right to that, and that is generally a very nice thing to be able to do. That. I get up and keep walking here. Bugs this year, man, they're just ridiculous.
Didn't quite catch the last comment, but before you comment on that comment, I'm going to comment that I've seen a lot of the influencers out there. They use those vertical monitors for their comment section, and as fast as those things scroll by, it depends on how popular you are, but you can go through the comment section vertically, and you can see a whole lot more with that vertical monitor. And I've seen some of those long monitors set up that way vertically, where you can see an entire list, something pops up at the bottom. You can catch it before it disappears to the top as it automatically scrolls up. It's kind of neat, and if you ever catch those guys doing their live streams and they're looking off to another monitor, chances are they're looking at one of those chat screens, if you will, people in the chat on the vertical monitor. What was the last thing you were trying to say? KF4ZTO, K4ARX.
Nothing. I'm just out here walking the dog in Union Theological Seminary, the old dorm building. Anyway, it's abandoned. Just commenting on the insane number of anthills and whatnot that are in this area. Well, not kneeled down, but squatted down and looking at one while listening to you talk. Something else I've been dealing with yesterday and today. Let me get the mic.
What are you talking about?
Mud dauber. What? Say that again. Mud dauber wasps. Well, they were daubing mud. Backyard, back of the house. After we had this series of storms, there's this mud puddle there, and the wasps, so you can literally see them kind of circling back, hanging out, grabbing some mud, and then flying back to where they're going. And I'm like, well, this is really weird. Where are they going? And I don't see anything. And then the next day, I look, and there's a net, a very newly formed beginnings of a net right underneath the window sill right in front of my house.
Oh, it's at the house.
Spray and sprayed that. It's like still coming to this muddy spot. So it's like, I wonder if they're building a net somewhere else. If they're, so I get some Dawn dish soap dumping in the water. Boom, there's a dead one in the water right there. And now they're just like on the perimeter, on the outside, but it's not necessarily in the water. It's still muddy. Digging chemicals to find something I can use to improvise. I think I found something that works.
Well, you kind of ruin their day with the Dawn dish soap and their dirty water and their mud. Mud doesn't stay together very well if it's soapy. It just cleans it. How dare you? Cruel. I have to look that up. I've been seeing some of those around, I think. Do they look like black army ants or flying ants? Is that pretty much the same thing? The dirt daubers themselves?
They're wasps. And they have really long, really thin bodies, but they're definitely wasps. Apparently they're not like as aggressive as like yellow jackets or some of the other wasps are. Some of them will attack you for no reason whatsoever, or they'll the yellow jackets. But one of the ones is native to this area. It's been proven that it will remember your face. They can remember face. They will remember who you are and attack you later. Apparently the mud daubers are not that aggressive. They will sting, but you really have to be really, kind of kicking the net so it's angry. But it's very happy with that. All the procedure, you only really try to attack them at night or first thing in the morning when it's cooler. Their activity is directly correlated to how warm it is. So in the morning, in the evening, they're usually not as active. But they were just going nuts grabbing this mud. They did not like the soap. They did not like this other stuff that I sprayed. Apparently they don't like some of these essential oils that are very strong smelling. We had some stuff that's used for killing grass. And I looked at the ingredients list and this has got exactly the same stuff, and I'll just spray them with it.
Yeah, there seems to be a lot of natural essential oils, I guess you could say, that the rodents and insects do not like. That Zevo works pretty good. Zulu Echo Victor Oscar and the like. It smells like peppermint or mint. They stay away. I think the spiders do too. But it's not so bad using that particular natural stuff. If you have infants or toddlers on the floor, your pets, what have you, it doesn't harm those. It's got a sweet smell. And it's still kind of sticky, but it's natural stuff. But that's what I use. And if I can't find the actual Zevo, I'll find the store brand equivalent. But you can even grow that stuff. If you grow mint at home, and other things like that, the insects will stay away. Most of them, they don't like it. I wonder if the car guys would like that, because they deal with dirt daubers and rodents of all kinds. Their cars are always out there for years. They might pull them out of the junkyard and bring home some residents, and they want to get rid of those, but they still sit around for 5 or 10 years, depending on whether they can get back to that project. But yeah, that might be some good deterrent for those guys too. KF4ZTO from K4ARX. This thing does get a little warm even at medium or low power.
Yeah,
It's not bad.
I dealt, well, I guess the new rep I dealt with issues like that with the car. This stuff has a very, very strong, kind of like peppermint, mixed with a couple other things. It's very strong. Apparently they do not like it at all. They say, oh yeah, reference riders and wanted yeah. So I have a buddy who used to live in Harrisburg. He worked for Harrisburg, Rockingham County Fire Rescue. And they did a beautiful example of, I think it was a 96 and 5, but like one of the last years that they made the pre-classic, the pre would be, I think, 5.7 liter V8, the police package, and it had been like the fire chief's car or something like that. It's like very, very low mileage.
I think you've been keyed enough.
And had been sitting to Harrison and another friend of mine, a hand who used to live in this guy that lives up in Harrisonburg, was like, hey, I've got all these old radios. They're free. You've got to come to drive it. And he said, yeah, if you want that Caprice, it's yours. You can take it home. And I said, heck yeah, I want that Caprice. I'll take it home. And then I said, what's the catch? And he said, there's a hornet's nest in the engine block, like up inside the firewall. And they said they tried everything. And you look closely, you could see it buzzing around inside and outside of the car. So they apparently had tried just everything to get rid of it. Mess, but they did not get rid of it. So they ended up just pushing the thing.
Yeah, cool story. I thought the butt of the joke was, it's a Caprice, that's why I'm selling it. But it turns out it had a wasp nest. My dad had a car a long time ago when I was in middle school, and it was a 78 Ford LTD, I think it was. But it had the police package, but it was dressed up in red like a fire chief's car. Had the baby moon hubcaps, it had the Eagle STs for tires from Goodyear. That thing would go. That thing would really go. And the only thing it had was a whine to it. And I was confident that it was power steering, but they kept telling me it was not. But whatever. For the duration he had it, that car would fly. And I think it was a little bit more than he wanted. Interesting government acquisitions. But I never got to drive it. Never old enough to drive it before he traded it off to something else. He probably thought it was too dangerous. He brought my brother a similar vehicle, but it was white in color. Had a green interior of all things, but it was a former police car. Pretty much same setup, but it wasn't as reliable as the fire chief's car. It even still had the lettering from the previous fire department, local county down there, and he never had it erased or anything like that, painted over. None of that happened until he sold the car, and the little old lady that bought it, she did that. But boy, I tell you what, the next time I saw that car, there was not a straight panel on that LTD.
Yeah, a little old lady who just drove it to church in the grocery store, right? And getting everything on the way. Yeah, that's, the LTD, my dad had a Caprice 77, I think, with the, the fabric roof. I forget what they called that, but, white paint with a blue fabric roof. Whatever it is, vinyl, whatever they called that. It was supposed to be, my mom called the car Agnes. Blue hair, old lady.
Got it. Vinyl top. That's hilarious. Agnes. I got it.
Now, that thing was a beast. With the 205, 5.0 liter. Of course, you got like 8 miles per gallon, which was the engine to trade it in. Similar hubcaps to what you're talking about, which is the center, you've got the black steel. Was not a police package, but it was the 9 or the 9, whatever they call it, police package. But yeah, talk about an old-fashioned body-on-frame, real drive V8 American sedan. I mean, I would have jumped on that Caprice in a heartbeat if it wasn't, $1 million deadly, well, not deadly, but insects. I could see the potential.
But they're just insects, Phil.
They are just insects and kinds of demand. Does not he's probably hundreds of times, like, whenever I was driving the car, whenever it's 3 hours, 3 years, to prove back to Richmond.
No, I'm sure it was worth it once you got rid of those. If you did actually acquire the car.
He was 100% serious. It was kind of like they were like, what are we going to do?
Kill
All of the people just tell us to hopefully the option is private party to buy it from that, or the option is dealership individual to buy it from the dealership. But it's more than the million push forward. So we just want this thing gone. We're not trying to pull a fast one, but for the pleasure, it's full of work, it's full of rock.
Well, anything that sits that long, even if it's a building, it's going to attract you like that. Somebody's going to move in and you got to evict them. I see it all the time.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
All right, sounds like you're at home. You need to get off the radio here for a little while, but I will catch up with you later. It's good having a conversation with you, and we'll catch up with you next time. K4CTO, K4ARX.
Roger that, yes, I'm back on. Do what I gotta do here, so let me get to it. And yeah, we'll get to talk to you, and have a good rest of your day. Ready, K4CTO out.
It's not bad. That's a decent little radio. I'm having fun with that. It's pretty lightweight, easy to hold. Got plenty of good audio, and all that in and out noise is just Phil where he is. He's not as nearly close to the repeater as I am. But if he moves around a little bit, he falls right out of the repeater. All right, see you next time.